Today, we're going to be talking about work-life balance. Can you achieve it? How do you achieve it? What do you have to do when your work and life are out of balance? Can I make the assumption, if you do work that you love and work less, but actually make more, wouldn't that be the ideal scenario? I think that's the dream. That's the goal, and that's what we should do. We should aspire always to do the work that we love first. That's a condition of a work-life balance. And then we should aspire to then work less while making more, maximize our earning potential so that we have what I think of the whole point of all of this stuff, have the maximum amount of free time to do whatever it is that you want. The reason why this is so problematic is, first of all, we have 24 hours in a day. So let's just do some math together. Let's just say, as recommended by many doctors, at minimum, you need 8 hours of sleep. So we're going to take the 24, we're going to minus 8 hours. Now, I know many of you, including myself, do not get 8 hours of sleep. So in an ideal world, we're going to say this is ideally, okay? 8 hours of sleep. You got to eat lunch. So we're going to minus an hour for lunch. And you're going to eat dinner. Dinner's going to take a little bit longer than lunch. And theoretically, you're going to work for 8 hours. That's a standard work week. Hopefully, I don't go over my hours allotted here. And you have to commute to work. Let's say that takes you an hour to commute. Like you take the train or you drive into work or whatever. So we're going to say that's round trip because I don't want to get too complicated here. You have to get ready for work. You got to shower, shave, put your face on. Let's take off another hour there for prep. So far, we have no leisure time. We're eating, we're going to work, we're sleeping. So let's count up the numbers here. That work and sleep is already taking up 16 hours, 18, 19, 20, 21. So we only have 3 hours of quote unquote free time. That's not a lot of time in the day. Now, if we have relationships, if we waste a little bit of time, we're done for, okay? So we have 3 hours of free time. Is that enough to get done what you need to get done in life? To work out, to cook dinner, to spend some quality time with your partner, with your spouse, with your children, with your pets, to do your chores? Not enough time. So what happens is these two concepts, for it to remain balanced, are in opposition with one another. They're opposing one another. So these are not necessarily separate concepts, but we have to have a different view of this. But this is kind of how most people talk about an ideal work life. And we can see even in this ideal thing where it's this or that, where if we take more time for work, we're taking away from something. That's part of the zero-sum concept, right? If we take 1 extra hour here, plus 1 hour, we then lose 1 hour over here. And what are we going to do? What most of us do, we take it from here, which is not healthy. And so we keep stealing from here so that we can pay for spending more time with our life or spending more time at work. The problem, as I've said earlier, with work and life balance is it feels like when we're at work, we're robbing from life. And when we're at home living our life, we're neglecting work, the thing that affords us our life. And I think this is a terrible position to be put in. I sat down and thought about the 3 things that I think make up work. And I have this 3-letter acronym, MFP. It's kind of like MVP. And I'll let you guess what the M stands for, everyone. What does M stand for? Money. I'll give you a guess as to what the P is.
Purpose.
You are paying attention. Thank you very much. And what does the F stand for at work?
Freedom.
Fulfillment. Who said that?
Ooh.
Who said that? Arlie. You get your golden star right there, Arlie. Boom. I think the main reason why we work for a period of time is to make money, to afford us the freedom, the choices, the options, the things, the house, the real estate, the optimization, the delegation, all that. That's what the money does for you. Why do I say fulfillment? Because work has to be fulfilling to you. You have to feel like you're growing, that you're learning. And sometimes when it's so fulfilling, it feels like fun. But this is all about you right now. Money for me and my family and my loved ones. Fulfillment for me personally. My kids can't feel that, but I can feel it. Purpose is about how this helps and impacts other people other than me. So I want you to just think to yourself right now. Ask yourself, am I getting this from the work that I'm doing? And if not, I want you to start thinking about what kind of work should you be doing so that you can get more of this. So let's talk about life, the three components of life. The first P of life is people. The second letter S is for self. And the third one is spirit. But we're going to call all of this life. So, I'm trying to stay within the theme of work-life balance. So your life consists of the people you know, the relationships you build, how strong they are, how you show up for them, how they show up for you. The strength of those bonds determines, I think, a big part of your happiness. And if you just do that all the time, though, and you don't take care of the self, you're going to find out that you ultimately start to resent these people and you only have so much to give because you'll start to burn out. So we have to make sure that these are in harmony. And then there's something beyond our body and our mind, whatever else, and each person's going to have their own little thing. Rather than us continuing this conversation about work-life balance, we should be talking about work-life integration. And that's how we achieve the harmony and the ultimate balance. And it's not this binary thing where we have to choose one and sacrifice another. These are not things that are in opposition. And this is not a man bag. This is the weight from before. Except for now, we've melted those two parts, two things between work and life. We've melted them together. We've merged them to create this kind of cool fake digital camouflage pattern. The pieces of the puzzle, that's the things that you're looking for. And you say, how does this puzzle piece match up with the other one? How do I start to bring these two things together? And that's the magic. So usually we kind of look at it like this. We have work life, right? So we are going to say work, and then we have life. If I had to boil work down, I would say you gotta make money, and there's got to be some purpose. You got to help people too. It can't just be all about taking care of yourself. And then it's about people and doing more of what gives you joy. And if we look at it in a kind of binary way, we have equal amounts of time to dedicate towards these things. So I'm going to give a lot of my time to money, and sometimes at the cost of people. I may find some purpose, and I have to sometimes sacrifice what gives me joy. And so that's how we divide up our time when we look at it as work-life balance. But let me do it a different way. We're still going to draw circles, but if we look at it like it's fluid, it's not in opposition, that we can draw a very different diagram. So we say, you know what, I need to make money because money affords me all kinds of freedom and autonomy and the ability to choose what it is that I want to do. That's the whole point of money. Like, if I don't feel like working today and I want to go for a run, I'm going to go for a run and I'll be all right. And so what we do is we say, the circle around money is this big. So it hits a lot of other things. It hits the people in our lives, the relationships that we're trying to build and maintain and to strengthen. And it gives us purpose because we're helping people, and helping people gives us joy. And if what gives us joy allows us to make money, it starts to overlap. But here's the really cool part. We can also look at it from, well, what gives me joy that brings people into my life, that brings money into my life? Maybe that circle looks like this. And then we get into the people, and I'll make that red. And maybe our relationships aren't something that we can cash in on too much, but it could look like this. So there's some overlap. So you're getting a little bit of that sliver of that quadrant in there. And then I have one last color here I can use. And purpose. Hopefully the purpose is the thing that brings us all together. So it's going to be just as big. And so all this wonderful overlap, this delicious overlap where we get all of it, is somewhere in here. This is the quadrant that we get everything right here. It's contained in the red. That is where you will find work-life integration. And I hope that you get there. And the thing I wanted to say earlier was that keep in mind, I'm almost 50 years old. I didn't begin this journey until I was 42. Not because I'm a late bloomer, because I'm dumb, but sometimes you have to live enough life to see different things, to be able to know who you are, to have the skills that you need in order to be able to be in a position where you can even see something like this. So I don't want anyone to watch this video if you're 19 or 20 years old or 16 or however old you are and say, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed by this. This is making me feeling depressed. Like I'm not there yet. Well, if you're 20 years old, you have at least 22 years if you're using my own benchmark here to get there. You have an additional 22 years to sort this stuff out. But good news, now that you've seen it, The roadmap is there. The blueprint and the breadcrumbs are all there for you. You may not take as long as I took. You may just be able to shorten it by a few years. And what I wouldn't do to have a couple extra years to do what it is I intend to do.
Hi, my name is Greg Gunn, and I'm the producer of the Futur Podcast. And yes, we do have a podcast. In fact, we've been having one for years, and that's exactly why I'm here talking with you. You see, it's really good, and I think you should listen to it. If you like what we do here on YouTube, then you're gonna love what we do on the podcast. You'll get to hear intimate conversations and personal stories from some familiar faces and others you might not know about yet. Plus, you can listen to it while doing something else and you won't miss a thing. So, if any of that sounds interesting to you, go visit thefutur.com/podcast or find it on your favorite podcast listening app. I hope to see you there.